Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to ukvisasuccess.com. Svetlana Slabak is here. This video is about the new international students' immigration routes. If I were to show you how these routes will look like in the form of a mind map, it will probably look like this, but not to worry. Yes, it is a very intense route full of rules and requirements, but what I'm going to do in this video, I'm going to take your hand and take you through all the key elements of the application, and I'm going to show you step by step on what you need to concentrate. And as with all my videos, I'm also going to show you how you can get more information if you need it, and this is absolutely free of charge. So let us get started.
Only several days ago, the UK government introduced a new international student route, which will become a part of the UK's new points-based immigration system. In this video, I'll analyze the route and I'll help you understand all the eligibility requirements. Okay, let us first of all establish if this route is for you. This route is for prospective international students over the age of 16 who want to study in the UK. You'll need to enroll on a course of further or higher education, a professional English course or recognized foundation program, or on the doctorate extension scheme. It is also for someone who wants to take an elected post as a student union sabbatical officer. For kids between the age of 16 and 17, there is a choice. So you can either come here, you can either apply as a student or as a child student, provided you want to study with a sponsor that is an independent school on a course at Regulated Qualifications Framework 3, or if you would like to study in Scotland, this is going to be Scottish Credit and Qualifications Framework number 6. There are three key elements of a successful student visa application. To succeed, all prospective students will need to meet three requirements. The first one is the suitability requirements, then we have the eligibility requirements, and finally, for students to succeed, they will need to follow the correct procedure. And to succeed, all three key elements are immensely important. Okay, let us start with the suitability requirements. In very simple terms, these requirements are there to ensure that anyone who enters or remains in the UK on a visa will not endanger those who already live in the UK. These requirements are about criminality, about fraud, failure to attend interviews or provide further information which is necessary to assess the application, and so on and so forth. It's also about debts to NHS over £500 and failure to pay Home Office's litigation costs. Well, of course, if it applies to your particular case. There are two types of suitability requirements: mandatory and discretionary. If you're caught by mandatory grounds for refusal, the decision maker has no choice. They will need to refuse your application. However, if one of the discretionary grounds for refusal applies to you, then the decision maker has a choice, and in other words, they have a discretion, and they can either allow or refuse your application. And guys, I have written a number of articles explaining general grounds for refusal. If you'd like to have the links, you're very welcome to request this information at ukvisasuccess.com/student. I would like you to bear in mind that for general grounds for refusal, it's really important to establish where you are. If you're applying from outside the UK, then general grounds for refusal for entry clearance applications will apply. In other words, paragraph 320. If you are already in the UK, then general grounds for refusal for leave to remain applications will apply, and that is paragraph 322. So it's really important to differentiate between the two. Now, let us have a look at the eligibility requirements. Guys, to start, just to warn you that there are tons of eligibility requirements, and this is the visual representation of all the eligibility requirements. However, there is nothing to worry about because I'll walk you through all the eligibility requirements step by step, and I promise you that if you stay with me until the very end of this video, it will all make sense to you. Okay, I would like to start by saying that also there are very many eligibility requirements which govern the new international student routes. You need to understand only 6 main ones, and let us have a look at them one by one. First of all, the Home Office says that anyone who wants to come to the UK as a student must apply and obtain an entry clearance as a student. So this means that even if you're from a non-visa national country, you cannot just fly to the UK and cheerfully announce to the immigration border officer that on your way to the UK you saw a great film about Coco Chanel and now you feel like studying fashion in the UK. Well, unfortunately, the UK immigration officer will not share your enthusiasms, and in these circumstances he's highly likely to not allow you to even enter the UK. So you need to have a visa in order to come to the UK on a student route. Secondly, we need to understand the 6 months and the 3 months routes. You cannot make your entry clearance application earlier than 6 months before the start date of your course. With the UK new points-based immigration system, the Home Office introduced the new legal phrase, which is known as permission to stay. In the definition section, the Home Office defines this phrase as leave to remain and reference to a person having had or being granted permission means permission to enter or permission to stay. Those with permission to stay can apply no more than 3 months before the start of the course. You'll find the start date in your confirmation of acceptance for studies documents, which of course you'll need to get before applying for a visa, but we'll talk about confirmation of acceptance for studies in more detail just a little bit later. Then we have this genuine student notion. Persuading the decision maker that you are a genuine student is one of the most important aspects of the application. The Home Office did not define the genuine student in their rules. However, in their guidance, they provide a very helpful list of factors which the decision makers will take into consideration when assessing these particular elements of the application. And here they are. Well, the immigration officer will have a look at the immigration history, at education history, study and post-study plans, financial circumstances, your qualifications, and also they'll have a look at the course provider and the agents who are assisting you with making this type of application. And also they'll have a look at your English language ability, whether or not you have any dependents and what is their role in your life, and also some other, well, they call these pull factors which influence students' choice of the UK as a study destination. Okay, the next one is the 70 points requirements. Every prospective student will need to get 70 points for the application. Despite the mix and match idea behind the UK's new points-based immigration system, prospective students, they do not have the luxury of choosing, so they have to score 70 points. And their choice is limited to the following. First of all, they will need to score 50 points for the course requirements, and then that's 10 points for the financial requirements and 10 points for the English language requirement. They will need to score all these points in order to succeed in the application. Now, let us have a look at the 50 points course requirements. They consist of a number of elements. First of all, we have confirmation of studies, and then its course requirements, approved qualifications requirements, level of study requirements, and a place of study requirements. When assessing and deciding whether or not to grant these 50 points, they'll go through all these requirements one by one, and they will give you points for that. Okay, let us have a look at the confirmation of acceptance for studies rules. First of all, it must be issued by a student sponsor, and it should not be more than 6 months old. It can only be used once, and the sponsor should not have withdrawn this confirmation of acceptance for studies. And of course, the confirmation of acceptance for studies will need to be in the acceptable form, but this particular one is not your concern. This is something which the sponsor will take care of. The next one is the course requirements. Nothing has changed here. It has to be a single course, and it has to be a full-time course, which is over 15 hours per week. And then we have 10 points for meeting the financial requirements. There are two groups here, those who don't need to show the funds and those who do. You don't need to show that you have funds if one of these two case scenarios apply to you. First of all, you are applying for permission to stay and have been living in the UK with permission for 12 months or more on the date of application. And the second category is if you're applying for entry clearance or permission to stay and you're applying as a student union sabbatical officer or to study on a recognized foundation program as a doctor or a dentist in training. Guys, generally you'll need to show that you have funds if you're applying for entry clearance or permission to stay when you have been in the UK with permission for less than 12 months. But there are a certain number of countries where you don't need to provide any evidence. And if you would like to check the list, you're very welcome to apply at ukvisasuccess.com/student, and I'll send it to you within 60 seconds completely free of charge. Okay, then the amount you need to show will depend on where you intend to study. Let us first of all have a look at those who intend to study in London. If you intend to study here, then you need to show at least £1,265 per month, and the maximum number of months is 9 months. So the maximum amount you'll need to show, which should be in your bank account, is £11,385. If you intend to enroll on doctorate extension scheme, that's going to be £2,530 only. And you don't need to show any funds if you intend to study at the residential independent school. All you have to do is to show that you have covered the cost of the course and the boarding fees for 1 academic year. With regards to studying outside London, it's slightly less, so you'll need to show that you have at least £1,105 per month, and again, this is only for the maximum period of 9 months. So the maximum amount which you'll need to have in your bank account is £9,135, and it's slightly less for the doctorate extension scheme. That's only £2,030. The same rules apply to prospective students wishing to study at the residential independent school. Now let us have a look at the English language requirements. If you intend to study at the bachelor degree level, then you will need to know English language at the B2 level, and it should be in all 4 components for reading, writing, speaking, and listening. If you intend to study at the below bachelor degree, then it has to be at the level of at least B1, and again in all 4 components: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. And also we have the academic progress requirements. When I started at the university in London, there was this phenomenal guy who we called the forever student. He was from a wealthy family from a visa national country, and he loved living in the UK and attending various courses. Well, he took his time to digest new subject and was not shy repeating the modules and receiving exams whenever it was necessary. And at that point, when we met, he already had 2 degrees and was aiming to get another one. And he was already in the UK, I think, for slightly less than 10 years. Well, the Home Office introduced the academic progress requirements to ensure that guys like him do not make studying their full-time career. The rules behind the academic progress requirements are very simple. When you have an intention of extending your visa while in the UK, you'll need to show that the course on which you are enrolling is above the level of the previous course. So if you did the foundation course, then you'll need to progress to the bachelor degree level course. If you did bachelor degree level course, then you'll need to progress to masters. If you did masters, then you'll need to progress to PhD, and so on and so forth. Well, there are some exceptions to these rules. For example, when you intend to extend your visa to resit the exam or repeat the module, then you will be exempt from meeting the academic progress requirements. However, you need to remember, guys, that you can only do this twice. So you can only resit or retake the module twice. It is unless the sponsor is a student sponsor. And there are two types of sponsors, the student sponsor and the probationary sponsor. So the probationary sponsor will need to take further steps in order to gain trust of the Home Office. The next one is the maximum period of study requirements. These rules apply only for those who are over the age of 18. You can study for a maximum of 2 years if you study at the below degree level, and it's going to be 3 years for postgraduate doctors and dentists. And if you study at the degree level, you can remain in the UK for up to 5 years. There are some exceptions to the 5-year degree level courses rule, and you can study for more if one of your core subjects of the bachelor degree are architecture, medicine, dentistry, veterinary medicine or science, music at a music college that is a member of the Conservatories UK, and also law. Now let us talk about the procedure. The procedure is very simple. You'll need to complete the correct form. You need to pay the fee and the immigration health surcharge. You'll need to provide your passport and documents in certain circumstances. If you are from the country which is on the Home Office list, then there is no need for you to provide certain documents. If you are not, then you'll need to provide all the documents to confirm that you meet all the elements of the UK students immigration route requirements, and then you will need to show that you have a confirmation of acceptance for studies documents. Well, it's a virtual document, and all you have to do is just insert the reference number. And of course, it should not be later. It should not be older than 6 months, and it should be valid at the date of application. And finally, you'll need to submit your biometrics. And if you intend to study for more than 6 months, then you'll need to also pass the tuberculosis test. Now, let us talk about switching. Switching is a legal term which defines the process of changing the UK immigration category while already in the UK. So, for example, if you came to the UK as a startup, a migrant, and then you married a British citizen, and then you applied as a spouse of a British citizen, then you switched the UK immigration categories. The UKVI has very strict rules about switching to the new students' route. And according to these rules, you cannot switch to the new UK's points immigration category if you remain in the UK as a visitor, or as a short-term student, or as a parent of a child, student, or as a seasonal worker, or as a domestic worker in a private household, or if you remain in the UK without a visa, or if you're here on an immigration bail. Now, let us talk about the decisions. If the decision was not successful, unfortunately, you no longer have the right to appeal. Well, they've taken it away quite some time ago, but you will be allowed to apply for administrative review. And there will be certain conditions imposed on your stay. And these are, first of all, you cannot claim any benefits while in the UK, so there will be no recourse to public funds imposed on your stay. And as a general rule, you cannot work unless you are a full-time degree level student. Then you will be allowed to work 20 hours a week, and on your holidays it's going to be full-time. And if you are a below degree level student, then that's 10 hours. You cannot study, generally you cannot study anywhere else apart from what the institution which is stated in your confirmation of acceptance for study documents. And some applicants from certain countries will need to register with the police. And with regards to the duration of your visa, here is the table. You will be given visa for the entire duration, which is stated in your confirmation for acceptance of acceptance for study documents. Plus, they will add some periods of times before and after your visa. And of course, the longest is when you are undertaking a course which is for longer than 12 months. Then you will be allowed to enter the UK 1 month before your studies and to remain in the UK 4 months after your studies. And this is it, my friends. This is all we wanted to discuss in this video. As I stated before, if you would like to know more, if you would like to dig deeper, you are very welcome to go to ukvisasuccess.com/student. I would like to invite you to visit this page, ukvisasuccess.com/more, where you'll find plenty of free immigration resources explaining various immigration rules. And I also invite you to subscribe to a new, very, very succinct and short newsletter where I'll be updating you on various changes in the world of UK immigration law. And also, I will be sending various exclusive invitations to the members of ukvisasuccess.com community. You'll only be able to get these offers if you are subscribed to this newsletter. Have an amazing week, guys.